Since it is more like a test, you're not having it today, because a quiz, that should be today, right? Who needs a quiz review? But a quest review, we'll take today as a work day, yeah? Yes! There we go. Count your blessings. Here we go. Number 10. C5. Could you do that in your calculator? The answer is yes. But tomorrow, could there be a non-calculator part?
Probably.
Yes. And if there is a calculator part, could I ask you to show the formula before solving? Why does that make a difference? Because you can't just put in the 12C5 and get the final answer. You can't get all the points if you don't fill in my blank with the formula. Does that make sense?
Will the number be that high?
Well, if it's... Whoa, wait. I said if it is calculator portion, I could ask you to show me the formula before solving with your calculator. Does that make sense? So you could use your calculator to possibly solve on the calculator portion something with something this big. Yeah, I wouldn't ask you to do it by hand. But I would want to see the formula and the answer, and you would have two parts to that question. Does that make sense, kiddos? Even in multiple choice, I could have blanks to fill in, which is why I made a big deal on Thursday and Friday to say you should be studying your formulas. Number 18, Pascal's triangle. Woo! Did anybody go to the 10th row and get 45?
Yeah.
Sweet. Could you have jumped there with 10C2 instead? Both ways work. Both ways work. There's going to be no problem on the test that makes you go that far in Pascal's. You could if you really want to. You probably don't have time. P.S. Make sure you have your calculator tomorrow. You can have it out at least part, but I'm not promising the whole.
Oh my gosh.
Number 24, expanding, right? Expanding to the 5th power. You could use your formula, or you could just say 5th power. I'm going to steal 1, 5, 10, 10, 5, 1. And I'm going to put it on the outside of, remember, you have to plug in y, starting at 5, counting down, and -2, not there. Now it's there, counting up. And simplify. What? It actually does have an application to probability, like this whole idea of expanding a binomial. It's just harder probability, kind of more like a college probability class, but there is an application, I promise. Besides just multiplying binomials. Number 32 is rough, because it has a 2x and it has a -5y. However, didn't we do something kind of like it in our notes? Actually, something really like it in our notes. Same thing with number 50. I think we did the 8th term on Friday. This one was just the 5th term. Second to the last term, so B was up to the 4th, A was down to the 1st, and then you had to do the coefficient using 5C4. 1 away from the last. 5C5 would have been the last term. 5C4 is 1 away. Austin.
Do you have another binomial theorem or can we just use the Pascal's triangle?
Goods and bads. Pascal's triangle is great, but remember how, because like on this one, it's the 5th power. You could have used Pascal's, done the whole thing, and then gone to count the 5th term. Like this one wasn't bad. But you remember on the one on Friday, I think, what did we have? Was it the 20th power or something? Oh, it was the 9th power. That would have been kind of hard in Pascal's to go to the 9th power row. I think we had one where we had the 20th power, or maybe we didn't.
That was the,
Oh, yeah, this one, right? I don't want you to think you need to do the 20th power row in Pascal's. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you just need to be ready, and the binomial theorem will let you jump to a place so you don't have to do Pascal's out to crazy amounts. But in this one, I would say the 5th power, yeah, that's not too bad, right? It's not too bad. So you could have done the whole thing, then counted the 5th. It's technically personal choice, but Pascal's sometimes takes a lot longer. Number 54, final answer is 3,247.695. Wait, what? That's a comma. 3,247,695. I don't know. That's a comma. Just, I don't know. It was 12C8 times 3 to the 8th power. Yes, this would definitely be a calculator problem.
Why is there a period?
It's a typo. Should have been in comma.
No, up top.
Oh, the period, they kind of just say that because they see this as a mathematical statement,
Oh.
which could be like a sentence, and so they end it with periods. They commonly do that. Where else do they do that? Up here they did too, see what I mean? They just kind of do it from time to time. And then number 88. 8C4, 1/2 to the 4th, 1/2 to the 4th. 0.273. Any particular questions? Odds, evens? Yeah, Austin. 47? While we get that, actually, I'm going to get the book opening. Then I'm going to come back and let you guys write down your test review. That's the wrong one. Because you guys do have homework from which to study, but hopefully that's the way that you were mastering this stuff along the way as we were working. So we need to give you some more practice problems for tonight. Oh, where's the review? MIA. Okay, hold on, I think it's on mine. Oh, it does exist. The limit might not exist, but the homework does. As we're getting ready in the sense of, I don't have things on the screen for you right this second. Kiddos, what is an example of a formula that you need to know? Give me something, though. Give me something specific. The nth term formula for what type of sequence? Geometric and arithmetic? Arithmetic? How do you say it?
A1 plus
Ah, it's how I was trying to say the a sub n. Yeah, a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. What's the geometric one?
What?
He doesn't want it. Someone take his. What? What is it, Caleb?
It's an equals A1 times R n minus 1.
Got it. You need to have that one memorized.
Oh, we're reading.
Thanks, Tyler, for moving.
He read it
Sit
out of
down.
His, he read it out of his,
I know, but at least he knows which one. What's another formula we need to know?
Binomial theorem.
Binomial theorem. Nathan, come get one. I don't want to hit someone. You can get a gummy bear or something chocolatey. Something else we need to know. Partial sums for what type?
Arithmetic and
Hey, Austin got it. Come on down. Get something chocolatey or fruity. Summation. What about it?
Formula. I'm just gonna use the
Oh, you got some gummy
notation.
bears, bro?
Oh my gosh!
Excuse you?
Give it to Nathan. Breaking. Thank you.
Bud.
Tyler, yes, summation formula. If you want to come get it or send a friend to come get
Okay,
it.
I got you, Tyler.
Oh no! All of the gummy bears.
Oh, he wants the gummy bears. There's another formula out there. There's not many. Binomial theorem, nth term for arithmetic and geometric.
Partial sum.
Someone already said the nth partial sum for arithmetic and geometric.
NCR is equal to N over R.
Infinite sum. Lucas, come on down. You got it. Infinite sum. Speaking of infinite sums, what are sequences called? Series, I should say. What are series called whose infinite sums do not exist?
Divergent.
Ooh, too many people answer, but good
What?
job.
What?
Ricky was the first. All right, fine. Raise your hand for the ones that the infinite sums do exist. If you don't have candy yet. Anybody not have candy yet?
What are you looking for?
If the infinite sum does exist, what's the name?
hand
Who said it? I don't even know. Ashley, I see your hand. Yes. I heard someone say it, but then no one claimed it. So Ashley, it's all yours. If you want it. You don't have to. Austin, you said number 47, right?
Yes.
Okay. Ooh, I have not heard something specific, though. I did hear binomial theorem, but what's another formula you need to know that might be part of the binomial theorem? No. A certain part that has its own special formula. What about the coefficient? I mean, that's good, but I was looking for something more specific.
xn plus nx.
No, not that one.
No more gummy.
Woo! Austin saying n factorial over what?
N minus R factorial
Times
R factorial.
Okay, everyone knows we do.
We all get one.
No. NCR. Make sure you have that one memorized as well. All right, number 47. Ooh, it was a jumpy one. Let me go see if I can get my homework up and ready for you guys. Precalc. Homework sheets. Okay. And Chapter 9A.
I have to do my homework. I know you want.
Alright, Austin, do you have the... I see the problem. I'm just probably going to forget it. Be ready to let me know if I write the problem down wrong, okay? Oh, I actually have it right there. Guys, it's right there. Oh, well. It's more prepared than I knew. Add page below. Okay, number 47. Really quickly, the one homework question. Austin, was it x minus 6y? Raised to what power? The fifth. And then it says to find which term? N equals 3. And does it say the nth term in the directions? Okay, so we're going to say we're going to find the third term. I don't like saying n equals 3. I like thinking about the third term because technically in this formula, what is n? 5. Okay. The third term. If we're counting down to the third term, there's going to be more than that, right, guys? There technically should be... Does anybody know how many terms total for a fifth degree?
Wait, I got
6.
Yeah, there's going to be 6 total. So there's going to be more after the third term. But we're trying to focus on this guy. What's something we know about the third term? X is going to be raised to something. Negative 6y is going to be raised to something. Remember, we're trying to fill in the somethings. And then we have n and r. Okay, n is 5. That one's easy because n is always the power you're being raised to, right? So I'm going to go ahead and focus in on this third term. N is 5. What else do we know? Someone said something that was good. X is the power of 2. Are you sure? The third term?
2, 1, 2.
Doesn't x start at 5 and count down?
Oh, darn it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
X starts at 5 and counts down, so he would be at the 3. You could think about negative 6y is gone, and then he shows up to the 1, or 3 plus what is 5? What would have to fill in the negative 6y? Good. Remember, these two have to add up to be 5, right? What number goes in this final spot? He's usually the trickiest one. Not 10. Y2. These two always need to match. Remember? In our binomial theorem, and this is the one that Nathan said earlier, the nth term. You have n and you have r. You have a, which is the first term. In this case, it was x to the n minus r, and you have b to the r. Which two match? These two. So the power of the second term is the second number in the binomial coefficient, or an NCR. Austin, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So in order to solve, I'm not going to solve the whole thing, but you would have 5c2, if I can actually write this right, c2, x to the power of 3, negative 6y squared. And I didn't actually read the directions too carefully if you were supposed to find, oh, the entire term. So to find the entire term, you just have to simplify the whole thing down. Does anybody need to see that simplified, or are we okay with the setup? We're okay? Nathan?
Is the way of thinking about it where it is in is that the only way to solve it? Like thinking about
The other way to think about it is the first term, r will always equal 0. The second term, r will always equal 1. The third term, r will always equal 3. So you can think of like the first, it's kind of like a sequence where n starts at 0. This is good. I want to know if this is for you. No, it's not. Okay, I think you just can't find no note. Thanks, Lord. R equals 0. So it's like the 0th term. You could think of it that way. So like the 0th term is the first term, then the first term, second term. That, though, I don't know, in the past that's gotten more confusing for kids. So I kind of stopped showing that. But you could think r equals 0 is the first, r equals 1, r equals 2. And then you end at r equals 5 for a fifth term. And then you have the 0, which is 1, and then the other 5, 6 terms total. I don't know. I'm not sure if there's really a much better way than that. Okay, let me go ahead and show you guys the review, and let me double check it's the same one that's online, just in case anyone amazing did start it over the weekend. What? Don't worry, I won't embarrass the rest of you by asking. Let's see. Is it the same thing? 3, 11, 13, 21, 25, 29, 39, 45, 47, 57.
Just scroll up to 49.
Oh, it's a little bit different.
There we go.
Alright, I'm going to change the one that's on my notes, but guys, this is the one that's live on your website that was there all weekend, so we'll keep it with this one. For some reason, I had it a little bit different in my notes, but I'll change it here. Technically the one in my notes is one problem shorter, but it might be a harder problem. I changed it. I took it out for a reason, so I'm pretty sure this is the best. It had 83 instead of 81 and 82. I think 81 and 82 are more like what you might see now. Alright, cool kids. Once you have the test review written down, here's what you should do for the remaining, what do we have, 20 minutes of class? If you don't have a book, get a book. You can borrow a couple that are left up here. They're falling apart. Be nice to them, please. You can ask questions on past homeworks and past homework problems or the test review as you come to it. Remember, test review. I could call it a quiz review and you have to write the directions, but I'll call it a test review and say, nah, you don't have to. Just like any other test review. No directions, no problems. You're just working out and checking. But if you have not yet started studying, I would say get through your notes right now while things are fresh in your mind from what we said are the formulas you need to memorize, and go through and highlight those quickly. If you haven't started studying for math tests, oh my goodness, study your formulas for tomorrow, okay? But sometimes you have to memorize things. Alright, ready, set?
Homework is the hardest part.
Let's go.
Homework is the hardest part of class.
Yeah, but I have to memorize our formulas because I only know like.
For Ricky, to be honest, I'd rather the homework be the hardest part, meaning you're more prepared for tests, than it be the other way around.
Yeah.
It would stink if homework was easy and then you failed all the tests. You know what I mean?
I see.
Mrs. Regan? Oh, boy.
Regan is a champ.
Yeah.
I want to grow up to be just like her.
She's my mom. She's my mom.
She's a good mom.
No, she starves her kids.